They'll give you a ticket to come back in. So you can just come back in. They'll give you a ticket to come back in. So you can just come back in. Okay. On the credits. On the credits, you just saw his name?
Well, I know, right?
See, that is a documentary.
That is a documentary. Where my Venti gone?
Her car, she's to go parking. She has to do a parking by 1 o'clock. Renew or something. That is, and you know, I kept sitting here thinking, imagine if they'd really done something around his mother and his relationship. Because that is this. That is.
They collected clips.
Please welcome back director Laurie Townsend. And give a huge round of applause as we welcome Stacey Ann Chin.
Preceded by Stacey Ann and Zuri Chin. Y'all look so good, we have to get a picture. And yes, let's do that. Okay, you look fabulous. Right, so I'll do one of these. Yeah. Awesome. I love it. Okay, well, invite our producers back here for our little platform party. Allison Duke, Gaddy Conte George, Justine Pimlott. I know there are some people from other collaborators. Sonia Gotti-Togobo, our editor, I think is here this morning. I'm not sure if Tom Third is here, our composer. Sate. I should put my glasses on. I can't see how they're making their way down, but when they come, if you were involved in creating this magic, please be up here if you're in the room.
Wow.
I know Sate wanted to be here. She did the vocals. Come on down, everybody. Amazing. So thank you, everybody, for, again, just the generosity of spirit. I can feel it in the room, and it makes every experience of watching this film a unique experience each time. Thank you so much for that.
I want to take questions from the audience, but I'll start just with a question for you, Laurie, because this project did span so many years, and we see, you know, Zuri grow up on screen. That question for those who have become a parent, and I think even those who reflect on their own parents, that question of what do we inherit and what do we pass on is such a fundamental thing that you explore in this film. Did you have any preconceived ideas about where that would lead you when you started over 6 years ago versus where you landed?
That's a great question. I don't know that I had any preconceived ideas of like the specific things that get inherited or passed down, but I was pretty convinced of the power of this, the mothering epic. I was really interested in what was within us that was like that nurturing, that mother line that propelled young people into their own stories. And when I was contemplating becoming a mother myself, I was really looking for examples in my life of people who were mothering in ways that resonated with me, and I could use my imagination and think, is that the kind of mother I would be? So when I met Stacey Ann and I knew of her work well before we started this project, I just really, I was aware of what she had inherited. I was aware of the trauma that she had experienced, and I was really blown away and inspired by how she transformed that into this beautiful act of mothering. And like that's what drew me to her in the first place. So Throughout making the project, though, I mean, there are so many things. We talked about this a couple days ago. There's so many ways that she's a lot like her mother, and then there are ways that she's just reinvented and reimagined motherhood for herself and has, you know, created her own narrative. So that to me that's been something of discovery for me during the process of making the film.
A question for you, Stacey, and Tsuri as well, is your relationship together. You know, a life in the arts, there's so many ways to express yourself, but to see in an hour and a half kind of a 6-year collage, can you talk a bit about that and as your relationship as mother and daughter has grown?
You know, I'm usually at the helm of my own storytelling. You know, I can tell you what I like, and I can kind of craft the sentences and the stories and the sequence of things to make you feel what I want to. I mean, like, the art isn't accidental when it is produced, you know? In a weird kind of way, you know, the camera is a different medium from the pen, in that you can't really hide behind like a graceful move. You can't hide behind a whisper. You can't hide behind a roar. You know, you have to just sit there and allow the camera to take what it will from you in terms of truth or lie. And I was surprised by quite a bit of what you captured. You know, especially, you know, I've spent my entire life trying not to be my mother. You know, for you, I wanted to be so much more. I wanted to be better. I wanted to not leave you, and I wanted to give you space and all of that. But this film has shown me how much, I mean, my mother was an incredible sorcerer. You know, she conjured things, and one of the things I say all the time is, I came into consciousness knowing my mother had left me, and that was in itself a bruise that I would carry for the rest of my life. But I also came into consciousness knowing that if I was a woman, found myself planted in a soil that wasn't good for me, that I could leave. You know, she left that with me. You know, she stained that in my consciousness, and so I always knew that I could leave only because she had left. And so the kind of like Du Bois-esque, W.E.B. Du Bois-esque idea of the double consciousness, I mean, that's something I carry with me every day. My mother's a magician. She made a whole life for herself out of nothing. I mean, can you imagine who my mother would have been if she had gone to like a really good high school, and if she had had the opportunity to go to, you know, tertiary level education and study philosophy and psychology and literature, and if she had been given a microphone and a room full of people who shared her values and who valued what she had to say and how she had to say it. She had so much less to work with. And so I hold that all the time inside of me. And I imagine that she would have been, you know, I mean, none of y'all could have talked to her if she had all the things that I had growing up. I mean, even with the deficit. And, you know, I say all the time that I hope it's better for you, but I don't know. I mean, like, I don't live in your body. And only you will tell us when the time comes when you get a voice that's big enough, you know, and loud enough and unafraid enough of what I might think of you. But I think this movie is about making space for all the ways in which we are connected and all the ways we bruise each other. We live in a world of cancel culture right now where, you know, when one person fucks up, it's like, okay, we're just gonna dispense with them. And I think it's about time the pendulum swung the other way, in that we find a way to say hard things to each other and still love each other and hold space for each other. And that's why I have this like farm of up in the hills in like Jamaica for y'all to come and cuss each other out about stuff. I know in Canada you are far superior than we are in the rest of the world with your politics and your equality and all that stuff. You don't have any racism here.
Oh yeah?
Like chauvinism or anything.
yeah,
so I
yeah.
know that I'm speaking to the choir
good
when
market-
I say, you
good
know, but if you
marketers.
want to come and support people who actually do need to progress because you don't, come to Jamaica, come to Kindred on the Rock and like talk with us.
It after watching the film, it was weird seeing my life from like somebody else's perspective, and to see how other people think of what I lived through, you know, and I learned a lot about you, and your past, and you know, and I have questions.
Lovely.
I don't even know if you have the answer to them. But it was, I mean, I cried, I laughed. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, Zuri, I can't wait to see your film.
If you're looking for a director.
There's a question here I'd like to take.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you, Lori, and Mrs. Allison. So first, I want to start off with a comment. Stacey, it's good to see you again. And I read your book, Other Side of Paradise, and as a Canadian-born of Jamaican parents, my heart broke with the book. I hated Jamaica, and I love Jamaica, and it's so heartbreaking. And I think after watching this film, I wanted to see it so badly. It feels like it's given a space that I think we so need in our culture to grieve, come face, come to terms with, contemplate, wrestle with the fact that for so many generations, our families have been split up because of migration. It goes back to post-emancipation. We're talking about Panama Canal, UK, Windrush, Canada, US, and it's had such a huge impact. It haunts me, haunts my writing, because we don't have the spaces to have these conversations and how that has impacted us. Some of us have reconnected with our families and our parents. Some of us never have, and some of those bonds have never been fixed. It's such a trauma generationally. So I want to thank Lori so much for making this film because it gives a space to actually, and there's not many art forms. I hope there will be more movies and songs and art and books that give us space to really grapple with it, because I feel in our culture in Jamaica we just kind of move on. We just kind of get on. It's a survival tactic, but there's a lot of pain there. We don't want to pass it on to the next generation. So thank you for that.
Amen.
Lori's a teacher. I'm a teacher who both work for this, the largest school board in Canada. And it's hard to shake being a teacher. And anything you do, you kind of walk with that. So my question for Lori is, what did you want to teach us with this film? There's like, I'm just curious. Your art form it's hard to take that teaching out. So what did you want us to learn?
Thank you. I just want to make sure people in the back could hear. Thank you so much for your comment. It was very beautiful and well articulated. The question you wanted to share was with Lori as a teacher and educator. What lessons were you hoping to impart with this film?
As a teacher, the lessons that I tend to espouse are the ones that I've learned myself. And so I'll tell you what I learned through making this film. I've said that at the beginning, I thought this was about me looking for an archetype, a template for the type of mom I wanted to be. I was actively pursuing this process, you know, through fertility treatments of becoming a mom, and thinking that I had to have my own biological child to sort of, you know, be able to say I'm a mother. And it was in the process of making this film with Stacey and Zuri and being so close to the ways in which Stacey Ann makes space for Zuri to be who she is, the way she speaks to her, the way she looks at her. I learned that it was never for me about becoming a mom to somebody else. I learned that I needed to apply Stacey Ann's strategies to myself. I needed to look in a mirror and speak to myself the way she speaks to Zuri. That's been the biggest lesson, and it's the thing that I want to whisper to every single human, little human, contemporary, older person. I want to be able to pass that on through this film. We can, as Audre Lorde said, we can learn to mother ourselves, and that's the most enduring lesson from this film for me.
I've been given a firm warning. I have time for one last question, so we'll go to you up there, please.
Hi, I just want to make a comment. I loved many powerful moments, but I loved the moment when you had your little mango word. You guys, it was so
The mango word.
many times. I would think everybody in society could use that strategy to be careful. Once you speak a word, you can't bring it back. It's a healing moment. It would de-escalate so many. Police could use it. A lot of people could use it. Amen. So hopefully it takes off virally from the movie.
Editorial?
I want to just, say that it is infrequent in Northern America and the global North, even in Europe, to see a team of Black women who bring a Black women's story forward. Because we ain't got no money, and we have very little power, and so we offer gratitude to the people who support us, who continue to support the opening of doors for Black women. And right now, I'm sorry, I know you have a time thing, but everybody get your phone out so you can vote so that we can get money for Laurie's next film. So we can beg, and if you can just write a check to Kindred, because, we are in a drought and climate change is like kicking us, in the nuts in Jamaica. And we need water and food for the people who live in our Kindred village, which is the farm up on the hill. So shower me with money. I mean, I will dance on a pole and you just throw me $100 bills. That's one thing. And the second thing is take your phone out and get to the QR code and vote for this movie, so that the more spaces this is in, is the more films like this you can see. If you feel like you are made invisible by the films you see on TV, this is a moment where you can push back and say, I can do something to make sure stories like this come again and again and again. We are invisible in the spaces where stories matter. This is a moment when you can change that. And talk about the film online. Take a picture right now. You see the back? Take the picture of this thing and post to your grandmother, post to your uncle, that little boy, nephew who always is online. Say it to him, tag him and tell him, repost. This film has got to go everywhere in the world, everywhere. A mother apart. Find us online and post about it. It is important.